Hey everyone, my name is John Fanning Jr. and my company Zelgor is raising capital in order to launch our first mobile game, Noobs in Space. Zelgor is taking advantage of the $100 billion mobile games market by building an entire galaxy of interconnected mobile games around our rambunctious alien characters, the Noobs. The mobile games industry as a whole is quite lucrative with multiple high-profile success stories. The makers of Candy Crush, Clash of Clans, and Pokemon Go each achieved multi-billion-dollar valuations off the success of a single hit game. At its peak, Pokemon Go brought in $2.5 million in revenue in a single day. We have the support of high-profile investors and icons in the video game industry, including Tim Draper, founder of the venture capital firm Draper Fisher Jurvetson, who invested in Skype, SpaceX, Tesla, and Twitch, Kai Wong, the co-creator of Guitar Hero, and Nolan Bushnell, the founder of Atari. As gamers who grew up playing on our handheld gaming devices like the Game Boy, mobile games are a category that we as a company are particularly passionate about. Zelgor currently has 2 games in development, Noob Tubes and Noobs in Space. Let's meet some of the noobs and take a closer look at Noobs in Space, shall we?
Huh? Oh, food fight.
We hope to launch Noobs in Space later this fall, thanks to our recent partnership with Beamable, formerly known as Disruptor Beam. They're the makers of successful mobile games Star Trek Timelines and Game of Thrones Ascent. They're working with us to implement their Disruptor Engine technology in order to ensure that Noobs in Space is a high-quality game that scales efficiently. Listing on Netcapital the first time around was an extremely positive experience for us as well as our investors. In fact, one investor, Mary S., sold her shares on Netcapital's secondary transfer platform for a 6x return in less than 21 months. If you'd like to help us launch Noobs in Space, join our 260 other investors by visiting our offering page at netcapital.com/companies/Zelgor and clicking the invest button to invest as little as 50 cents. We look forward to having you on board the mothership.
Thanks, John. And that's a good reminder that all of these companies are currently raising on Netcapital and anyone can invest. So if anyone has questions, we've got about 5 minutes here for Q&A. So investors, please share your questions below. In the meantime, John, what do you plan to do with the proceeds of this offering?
Yeah, it's a great question. All the proceeds go towards the launch of Noobs in Space. So we've got 2 or 3 hires that we've circled that we're planning on bringing on board the team. We also have a network of contractors, artists, developers that we use as well to create some of the 3D artwork that you saw in our video, as well as all the other components that go into making a game. And the remaining capital really goes towards marketing the game upon launch.
Great. And how much have you raised so far? And is there still development left to do? This is an investor question.
Yeah, so we've raised $450,000 to date outside of this current Netcapital offering. We have about 4 or 5 months of development work still to go. And we're hoping that we'll be ready to launch around September, October, sometime in the fall.
Great. And can you talk to us a little bit about the list of investors you have so far? How did that all come about?
Yeah, sure. So I was actually a student at Draper University, which is how I met Tim. And that was really a huge moment for me. It was an incredible learning experience. As somebody who had the opportunity to go to business school for 4 years, I learned a tremendous amount of business school, and I learned a tremendous amount even in a month at Draper University. And that was really what got the ball rolling for me. Tim is obviously an incredible investor, but he's also a huge fan of the board game Risk, and we really bonded over our love of games and our competitiveness. And that's really where it all started from there. Nolan Bushnell is a close family friend, so it was pretty easy to get him on board. He was actually one of the first people that we showed the noobs to when we came up with the concept. And then just through networking, I met Kai, and he really loved everything that we were doing. I talked to him at least twice a month. He's had an incredible influence over, the game design as well as the business. And I'm trying to think if there's anyone else worth mentioning. Probably not anyone. Oh, we have Mike Dornbrook. He was the COO of Harmonix, which made Rock Band. So people gravitate towards us, because of the noobs, because of the cool stuff we're doing in games. And, as somebody who grew up playing games, it's really a dream come true for me to work with these people.
Very cool. We have a couple more questions coming in. Where's the company located?
We are located in Boston.
And can you talk about the progress you made so far on Noobs in Space?
Yeah, sure. So we have a pre-alpha up on our Test Fairy account. So it's available for all of the testers who have signed up on our website, which includes any of the Netcapital investors who are interested. We've got 50 levels in the game so far. We've got 3 characters, and we're planning on adding a lot more different characters, a lot of different levels, different spaceships and things like that. So there are a lot of additional features that we want to add in order to make the game really fun and really pop. But we've got the core foundation in there now, and you're already starting to see some of that fun factor that we're looking for.
Great. If anyone else has any questions, throw them in now. We got about 1 more minute to go. In the meantime, John, how'd you get started in the gaming industry?
It's a great question. I really started as a gamer who was, really sort of frustrated with what I was seeing these companies with, limitless resources produce. And then when I was in high school, the iPhone came out, and I was really excited because I was like, oh man, Game Boy plus cell phone, the games that are going to come out are going to be, really awesome. And that's not really, hasn't really been the case. It's been a lot of very simple, casual games. And eventually I just got to the point where I was like, oh man, this space has so much potential, and people really are just sort of settling for, very short, quick experiences. And that ultimately compelled me to go out and try to build a game myself.
Cool. And another question from the crowd here. With Tim Draper et al., why raise on Netcapital?
That's a great question. So for us, we really view it as an opportunity to do 2 things at once: raise capital as well as build our community. So Tim Draper is an incredible investor to have, but he's only one person. So if only Tim Draper plays our game, we're probably not going to be very successful. So for us, it's an opportunity to build our community of players as well as enable them to share in our success. And we think that's a really incredible model and a really great way to go about building a game company.
Very cool. And the last question we had from the crowd is, where do you see this investment going over the next couple of years?
Yeah, so that's the cool thing about the mobile game space in particular, is all it takes is one hit game and you see the valuations of these companies skyrocket. So Supercell became a $1 billion company because of Clash of Clans. Same thing with King.com and Candy Crush and Pokemon Go. And that's really everything that we do is all about, building games that allow us to swing for the fences. So, even if it's not, a massive, multi-billion dollar hit, hopefully it can still be a very large success. So for us, that's really one of the coolest things about the game space is, there's a lot of money there to be made if you build a great game. And the audience isn't mutually exclusive. People have multiple games on their phone. They play multiple games, 2 or 3 games at a time. So it's really just a great community and a great opportunity to build a massive success.
Great. And we'll sneak one more in. You got 30 seconds. Can you talk just a little bit about the Beamable partnership?
Yeah, so Beamable, formerly Disruptor Beam, they are an established game company. They're also based in Massachusetts. They've launched 2 massively successful games. They've had an audience of over 20 million people. They've done over 150 million in transaction volume. So their technology is really robust. It works at scale. And they have basically opened all of that up to us, and they're helping us build our game on top of their platform so that we know when we launch Noobs in Space, it's going to be a really high quality game that scales efficiently and everything is safe and secure and works well.
Awesome. Perfect. Thanks, John. Thanks for presenting.